ActiveMember360 login automation. In this video, we're going to create a login automation and ActiveCampaign for ActiveMember360 that's going to handle the situation when a password's not generated almost immediately or not at all. And to do so, we're going to use the MBR GenPass function that ActiveMember360 provides. So let's dive right in. So inside your ActiveCampaign account, you're going to want to create an automation. I've got one called Send Login Information. And ideally, you're simply sending out an email with the password. Unfortunately, sometimes passwords aren't generated automatically, or something isn't working properly, or the internet blows up, something like that. And you want to be able to handle that scenario gracefully. So first thing I want to do is actually make sure that the contact is added to the WordPress site properly with the appropriate tags and all that good stuff. So to do so, I'm going to use the MBR GenPass function. And they give you an example of what you want to look for. This is what your URL or webhook is going to look for. So I'm just going to copy that for now. I'm going to go back into here. And first thing I'm going to do here is webhook. And I'm just going to paste that in for now, but I will come back in just a minute to modify that. Now, if you notice, there's a security code that needs to be used. So inside your WordPress site, under ActiveMember360, we want to go to Plugin Options, Security Options, and then you want to create a security code. So go ahead and click Add. Doesn't matter what it is. I would not recommend 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but if you do, oh well. So we have that information. So I can now go back into here, and I'm going to replace the part that says one of your security codes. So I'm going to go ahead and do that with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm not going to use the ampersand TID equals whatever. Those are ID numbers. Instead, I want to use this option, auto register equals yes. I want to make sure the user gets created inside WordPress. So I'm going to go here to the end and change that to a Y. So it's my website, MBR GenPass equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and auto register equals yes. And I really should grab the URL right here and do that. So that's the first part. Now, that should take care of adding the user, giving them a password, all that good stuff. There's a custom field called password that we're going to have populated with the password that gets created. Now, next thing is ideally we just send an email, but in case something goes wrong, I want to put a condition in here that checks to make sure that the person has their password before we send them. So let's go ahead and do this and go to wait until specific conditions are met. And it's going to be under custom contact fields, and we want to use password. Where are you? There it is. And here's the biggie. Make sure it's greater than, and then leave this empty. So in other words, it's not empty. So that's kind of an important part there, is that you make sure that password is greater than empty. In other words, it's not empty. So go ahead and save that. Now, we want to put a time limit, a very short time limit. And I'm going to say up to the minimum, which happens to be 5 minutes. So this could pass through immediately if the password's set, or it could wait up to 5 minutes. So after 5 minutes, we want to do an if check. And we're going to go back to custom fields. We're going to look for password. Where are you? There it is greater than. So no matter what, we're going to wait after 5 minutes. We're going to pass through and we'll check again. If it's greater than, perfect, send an email. We're going to send an email here. I'm going to create a new one called login. And I'm going to skip creating it, but I should include the custom fields for password and also the placeholder for email. And I am going to actually, let's just do it real quick. Pretty basic email, but something along those lines where you've got the URL, the placeholder for email, and placeholder for the password. And you're right, I'm not going to send from Yahoo. So that's assuming the best case. Now this could happen almost immediately, where this happens, they pass through here immediately, yep, the password's set, and you send off an email. Perfect. Now the other scenario is after 5 minutes it might not be right. So my recommendation is to, 1, notify someone. And in this case I would notify myself or notify a team member and say, to tell me who that person is. And then, since you're here, you might as well send an email that says sorry, something to the effect your login details soon. And that's it. You've covered all the different scenarios that can happen gracefully. And in a perfect world, that nobody would go down the no path. But in this case, if for whatever reason the password doesn't get set, you notify somebody for them to deal with it. And then secondly, at least send them an email within that 5 minutes that says, sorry, it should say something to the effect that login details are coming soon. So in a perfect world, somebody gets put into here, this webhook updates their record with a password, they get put into WordPress if they're not already there, and then we wait for up to 5 minutes, but if they already have the password set, they pass right through, they will pass this check, and they get their login email. If that's not the case after 5 minutes, notify somebody to fix it, and then send them a login details coming soon email. That's how we build the login automation for ActiveMember360.